Welcome to this bonus episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. I'm in the tree stand. It's October 15th. Beautiful mid-October evening. But I'm thinking now about which days I'm going to focus on as we get closer to the rut. And I think that plays real well with people who are taking vacation time, figuring out which are the best days to take their vacations. So I've got my phone, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to take a look at the calendar, and I'm going to give you my recommendations for when I would take vacation. And granted, I get to hunt whenever I want to, but I don't hunt every single day. So I'm also focusing on which days are the best.
Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Hunt Stand Pro Whitetail, Fuse Accessories, Elevate Tree Stands, B3 Releases and Broadheads, and Hoyt.
Now I'm looking at October. I really like October 29th. That has become one of my favorite days. I've had great success on that date, plus or minus 2 days over the past couple of seasons, and that falls on a Sunday. So I think I would be very tempted to take either the Friday the 27th and Monday the 30th and get a 4-day weekend there, or I would take the 30th and the 31st and get a 4-day weekend with starting on the, my phone shut off, starting on the 28th. So kind of, I would be maybe, if you're flexible enough that you can play the weather, that's what I'd be thinking there. But I really do like a 4-day weekend right there at the end of October. That time frame seems to be better for, make sure there's no deer coming, that time frame seems to be better for bucks still being close to home. As you get deeper into the rut, maybe there's more movement, overall buck movement, and we'll talk about that in just a minute as I talk about my second time frame that I would take. But those deer that are moving in November are covering more ground. They're less likely to be in the spots where you were getting them on your trail cameras earlier in October. So that's why I like that time frame, the late October. The bucks are moving enough in daylight to make them huntable, but they're still closer to home. So if you got a specific deer you're after, that's a really, really good time frame for trying to get him. In fact, last season the buck I killed was on Halloween, and that was a 70-degree day. So I wouldn't even be nervous about taking that same time frame off, even if it's warm. When the time is right, the time is right. So now let's look at the second window. Get this thing turned back on. Okay, now I'm into November. I really like November 7th. I know some people like November 8th, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, the 7th or the 8th are some of the best dates for that really intense pre-breeding or early breeding movement. The bucks are looking for those first few does that are in estrus at that time. The does are not heavily into estrus. The peak of breeding isn't until about the 15th of November in most of North America. So they're just ramping up. It's a prime time frame. So we've got a Saturday the 4th. I wouldn't take the Friday before that. If you're going to do anything, I would take the 5th. No, the 5th is a Sunday. So we got the 4th and the 5th is the weekend. I'd be tempted to take the 6th, 7th, and 8th to round out my 5 days of vacation time. Or if you can take more, it'd be nice to be able to take that whole week of the 6th through the 10th. But now this brings up the question, do you take the 6th and the 7th, or 6th, 7th, and 8th if you're only going to take 3, or do you take the 8th, 9th, and 10th and tag into that second weekend? I don't know. It's weather dependent. Again, if you have flexibility, you'd be better off taking the one that has the cooler temperatures. But I guess if it was me and I had to pick one side or the other, I think I would take the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That would probably be my vacation in November if I only had 3 days left. If I took 2 in October, 3 in November. But again, if you can take 5 in November, then it's a no-brainer. You take the 6th through the 10th. Then you've got the 4th through the 12th. That would be really, really good. But I would not ignore that late October. That's become a more and more productive time for us. Specifically, that time towards Halloween, 29th, 30th, and 31st. So we can get into the biology a little bit more sometime. In fact, I did an episode last year where I talked more about the bell-shaped curve of when does come into estrus. You can pull that episode up. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to see more of the biology, related to timing and, maybe have a little bit more confidence in exactly when the breeding phase occurs. You always want to hunt ideally on the ramp up to breeding. You don't want to hunt when most of the does are in estrus because the bucks are tied down with those does. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We'll see you right back here again. Today is, I think I'm going to get this out on Tuesday. We're going to be back tomorrow with the Whitetail Watch. And then again next Monday with the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.